Welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D. Okay, so the next part of the episode, Kim and Gypsy Rose Blanchard's conversation. So Gypsy Rose appeared unexpectedly on this show after being released from prison. She met with Kim Kardashian to talk about working together on prison reform. Gypsy's visit stirred up a lot of interest and controversy because of her past. She became well known for being involved in a very serious crime where her boyfriend killed her mother. Despite her troubled history, Gypsy's meeting with Kim brought up important issues about her time in prison, like not getting therapy. Her appearance sparked a lot of discussion among viewers about whether she is a good advocate for prison reform or not. Kim, studying to become a lawyer, promised to help Gypsy by guiding her in her prison reform efforts. Gypsy wants to help others in prison and be a guide she wishes that she had had. Their conversation was emotional, with both of them connected over their shared goal of improving the prison system. What do we think about that interaction?
You know, when I found out that Gypsy Rose was going to be on the show, I'm like, excuse me? Like, why is she going to be on the show? I'm like, didn't she, help unalive her mom? And, clearly we know, her story. Or for us that don't know, I mean, for the people that don't know, her mom suffered from, what was it, Munchausen's by proxy?
Munchausen by proxy, yeah.
So the girl went through a lot. So listening to her
Yeah.
story and, kind of imagining the things that she went through and, being incarcerated at such a young age and her upbringing and how articulate she is, I was really surprised. See, you can't judge a book by its cover. I feel
Yeah.
bad for having, the thoughts that I did. But, I think she's just lived such a sad life, a difficult life. And I think it really like broke my heart that she wanted therapy, Sh- maybe just an outlet to talk to someone, because, you go
Mhm.
to your mom or to some kind of parent to talk, but she clearly doesn't have that. So she wanted to have a
Yeah.
therapist in prison. She wasn't allowed to have, or they deemed her, you know, not suitable to have one. So I thought that that was hard to listen to because our prison reform, and we're not going to talk about it because I'm not Kimberly Kardashian advocating for all these things, like prison reform. But, these places, in my opinion, should be like rehab centers. And we'll see that in episode 9. Um, and prisons aren't built like that, unfortunately. The sentencing is all out of whack. People can't get the resources that they need. A prison is just a money making institution. It's not there to rehabilitate her or rehabilitate people. So, we did a disservice as the United States or the institution to help her. But I am glad that she's trying to help other people. And, if you help just one person, I think that's enough.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, I think for a lot of us it was strange, like that they would have her on the show. Especially since I think earlier in the season they had like the Golden Bachelor on the show, and I was just kind of thinking like, why are all these random people appearing?
Yeah.
Is this like a ratings? Is it like for ratings or something? Like I don't
Yeah.
know. It was strange. Um, but their conversation, the Kim and Gypsy conversation, was very candid.
Hmm.
And I was surprised by how forthcoming Gypsy was,
Yeah.
um, and how willing she was to share, everything that she did. I think that, obviously without going into like prison reform or any of that stuff because we're not well versed in it, but I mean, obviously the expectation is once you do your time, you've paid for your crime.
Hmm.
But there's this stigma that follows people that have been to prison, right? ex-felons. They have difficulty finding jobs. And as she mentioned, I believe there's an issue with like doing a background check for her for, I don't know if it was housing or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's all of these different issues where it makes it easier for a person to end up in jail again. And that is obviously a failure of our judicial system. But I'm glad that she wants to do something, that she wants to help. It is, obviously incredibly difficult to get out of the trauma, because she clearly went through trauma, and it is unfortunate that she was not able to receive the help that she clearly needed. Hopefully she did start to receive it when she got out of prison. But yeah, I think it takes a lot for someone to really dedicate their time or any part of their lives towards doing something like that. Because not a lot of people would really care to be involved. Most people see someone in jail as a criminal for life instead of somebody that maybe, did something wrong and are paying the price for it, and maybe can come out better. Obviously, that's not the case for everybody, but just like, for example, Gypsy, whatever her part was in that situation, I mean, she was a victim herself. And I don't think that because of the fact that she's been in jail, the victim part of it gets like kind of erased. And that's not fair to her, right? Because that's part of why things happened the way that they did. So anyway, it was definitely a much more interesting segment compared to what I thought it was going to be. I really wasn't sure what to expect, but I did not expect for it to actually, be as good as it was. I was shocked, honestly. And it was interesting to see Kim in a sort of like a mentor role, because for years she's been doing prison reform, and she's kind of always had people that she's kind of like, had as mentors and had kind of be there with her through things. And this was like kind of one of the first times noticing that it's now her by herself, trying to guide someone or really be a mentor to someone. So yeah, that was kind of an interesting to see, and it's a cool thing to see from her,
Mhm.
considering, all we know about her is all she wants to do is work and blah, 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 and all the businesses. This, to me, is a much more like human side to
Yeah.
her that, yeah, that I was really glad to see. Like, I was surprised, but I was really glad to see that side of her.
But that concludes today's episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends could be our friends, so we could all be friends. We also have social media, which they'll tell you.
We are on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, and comment. You can also listen to the videos in podcast format via Spotify and YouTube Music.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.